Hey, my community, Jeff here again with some new releases that I finally have got caught up on getting a couple of. So, yeah, I noticed, I realized that there are a lot of things on my wish list, a lot of new releases by bands that I love. And, I've been still kind of trying to be limited on what I purchase, but also trying to be a little more patient and doing the whole thing where I monitor Amazon, and then when the prices drop, jump on them then. And unfortunately, some of the records don't drop as quick or often, and I want to make sure I don't miss them. So, but a couple did have recently dropped or have recently gotten a deal that was worth grabbing, and so I'm catching up. Some of these you've probably seen already because they are months old, but they are brand new releases by bands that have come out. This one is the most recent that I think. This one just came out, even though it shows it's supposed to be a release date in December. I think the vinyl just came out in March or April or May, somewhere in the past short amount of time, and that's the new Riot 5 Mean Streets. Now, if you're not familiar with Riot 5, I did a video a while back on how I had watched the documentaries about this, and so I finally got in line with understanding the whole Riot family tree and how that worked and who the guys in Riot 5 were, who they used to be, etc., etc. So very excited about this one because I finally had, and I've shown videos where I finally did pick up the Riot 5 vinyl records, because when they first got together, I hadn't been buying records, and then they were hard to find, and I finally tracked one down on eBay, etc., etc. So I had caught up with everything except that live album, and there was 2 live albums, I guess. This is the most recent studio album. So again, if you're not familiar with them, Riot, the classic band from the late 70s, early 80s, went on. They did the Thundersteel album where they changed up the sound, became somewhat of a power metal sound with a different singer and everything. Then they kind of went back into more of a bluesy thing for a couple decades. And then they came back to that sound by getting that same Thundersteel vocalist, and they did the Immortal Soul album and returned to that power metal style at that point. And then right after that album, the main guy, Mark, had passed away. And so the band continued on as Riot 5, the 5th, version of the band, with that same style and a different singer, but the same singer forever. So, Todd Michael Hall has been with the band from then on out with the Riot 5 stuff. Great, just intense, melodic, searing vocals type stuff, US power metal type things. And yeah, this is their newest album that I, was glad the price dropped down into like teens. I forget, this was like $16 or something. And it's a brand new record. When it came out, it was in the $30 realm, and I'm thinking, I'll give it a couple months. And then all of a sudden it plummeted, so I grabbed it. So that's the most recent release. And then this one, I think this one came out back in December. This is the new one from Scott Stapp. And again, was keeping an eye on this. And then a couple days ago, or a week or so ago, it dropped down under $20. And so I pounced on that. It hadn't been too expensive. It's a single record set, and it was only $25 or so. It's hovering at that, but I figured, it's on what they call it, whatever that color is, Viola weird red or something. But yeah, so of course Scott Stapp from Creed, and I believe, I'm seeing all the rumblings about new Creed tour and new Creed album and stuff like that. So, but this is some more solo stuff from Scott, and it's a great album. I listened to it online when it first came out. Modern, so just his vocal styling. So, anyway, if you missed out on this one, check it out because it is available and it's not too expensive. So. And of course, I was late to the game. I was waiting, and finally pounced on this. The price never really dropped. I didn't want it to go away, and I knew it probably wouldn't go away. There's so many color variants, and I've listened to it numerous times online, but I thought it's time to get it. And I basically had received a gift card from Amazon, a gift card credit from the commission program that I have out there, and so I had gotten a chunk of that. And so I went ahead and splurged and bought this. Again, it didn't drop down drastically in price. So I was like, we got to get it. And this is one of the ones, like I said, there's various color variants out there. This one's on red. So just the Amazon one. Yeah, and big Kiss fan, obviously, so I was definitely going to get it. Not a problem. I have all the Ace Frehley stuff, and yeah, I've listened to it quite a few times, and it is a good album. They were putting all this hype about it. He's saying, "Oh, tell Paul it's going to be the best thing he's ever done," and it's got some really good stuff on it. I saw Ace last summer live, and made me wonder how he could play or record anything. And still makes me wonder, this album sounds really good, and I'm just, well, whatever. Can't speculate. Just kind of wonder how much help there was involved. I will say the Constantly Cued album is the only song that really, to me, is kind of cringeworthy lyrically. But the whole album is pretty decent, except that song kind of makes me just kind of cringe. But yeah, so cool stuff, and I finally jumped on board. Obviously, I needed to get that. So, and then this one came out like in October last year. It's been on my list for a while, and it's probably the least known band, Sky Empire: The Shifting Tectonic Plates of Power Part 1. So they're a UK band, and their first album came out in like 2018. Very much prog metal type stuff. I hear lots of hints at times of Dream Theater. It's got that kind of a flair, just the technical prowess, the musicianship, they just sound great. And so there were hints of that all throughout that. This album, they've changed vocalists, and they got Jeff Scott Soto, U.S. singer now. Jeff Scott Soto, surely you're familiar with him. He's done so much stuff. He's Malmsteen. He's done everything. He appears everywhere. He's one of my favorite singers because he's just solid. And I've gotten so many things that he's worked with, and he's worked with people like Mike Portnoy and them, in the Sons of Apollo and things like that. So lots and lots of talent there. And he joined forces. Now, I will say on this album, it's still got a lot of that flair. There's some instrumental stuff. It's got a lot of that prog elements. But it almost kind of feels like it's a little more laid back. I don't always hear as much of the Dream Theater influence. Kind of reminds me of a little more of, it's still very proggy, but it's not and whatever. I've listened to it a couple times, but it's great. It's great stuff. I just think that it's a little different than the first album and the way that the music is. So, but yeah, if you're not familiar with this, check it out. If you're into prog music, if you like all the stuff, if you like any of the stuff like Dream Theater or Neil Morse and any of the classics, of course, you probably check that out. Great stuff. So there you go. Just 4 brand new releases, most of which did finally drop in price to where I pounced on them, and just stuff that I knew I was going to need. I still don't have, and it's not moving price-wise, I still don't have the new Judas Priest. I don't have the new Saxon. There are quite a few of my favorite bands who have put albums out there that I haven't picked up yet. And there's some that, there's something that just came out real recently that I don't have. But it's hard to keep up. So many bands, so much music, only so much money, so much time. Thanks for watching this one, though. I'll see you later. Rock on and rock hard.